It can be difficult to identify at first. Perhaps you find yourself trapped in a relationship that, while it may seem perfect at times, leaves you with an inexplicable feeling of emptiness. Over and over again, your intuition tells you that something is not quite right, but you can't pinpoint exactly what it is. This is one of the greatest challenges in any romantic relationship. How to recognize what truly matters, how to identify what should never be tolerated, and how to connect with the truth of your being. Carl Jung, the influential Swiss psychologist, believed that our relationships serve as a mirror reflecting the hidden aspects of ourselves. If we are unaware of the concealed elements of our psyche, the parts of us that reside in our shadow, then we are at risk of repeating destructive patterns without even realizing it. For Jung, the shadow is an integral part of who we are, a part that we often refuse to see, but that is always present, waiting to be acknowledged. This shadow is made up of everything we deny and avoid confronting within ourselves. When we project our shadow onto others, we tend to see in them the things we do not want to recognize in ourselves. And this is what can lead us to tolerate behaviors that should never be tolerated in a romantic relationship. Perhaps you have found yourself accepting abusive, dismissive, or simply negligent behavior, thinking that love must endure everything, or that it is your responsibility to change the other person. Jung would tell us that this is a profound mistake, because when we allow others to treat us this way, what we are really doing is projecting our own shadow. In other words, we are accepting aspects of ourselves that we are unwilling to face. It is essential to recognize that your worth does not depend on what others do or say. If a relationship drains your energy and forces you to stop being who you truly are, then it is not a relationship you should tolerate. A true and healthy connection with another human being is based on mutual respect, the acknowledgement of each other's authenticity, and support for one another's growth, not on sacrificing who you are. According to Jung, this is a clear indication that you are not aligned with your true self. Every time you allow something like this to happen, you take one more step away from your authenticity. In this transformative process, Jung emphasized taking radical responsibility for our role in relationships. This is not about blaming the other person, but about understanding why we choose to tolerate certain behaviors. Jung asserted that the key to personal growth lies in facing our shadows, those aspects of ourselves that we fear recognizing. When we integrate our shadows, we stop projecting them onto others and begin to make wiser decisions that align with our inner truth. So what should you never tolerate in a romantic relationship? Anything that makes you feel like you are not enough as you are. Anything that puts your inner peace in constant jeopardy. Anything that makes you forget who you are and what you are worth. Healthy relationships are not built on continuous sacrifice or on making you feel that you must change yourself to fit in. In a truly fulfilling relationship, both individuals have the space to be who they are, to grow without losing themselves in the process. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that love must be unconditional, but Jung taught us that this is not just a mistake. It is a form of denial of our own authenticity. Romantic relationships should be a dance between two complete human beings, not a battle to save what was never meant to be saved. There is something incredibly powerful that happens when you allow yourself to say no to what is hurting you. It is an act of self-love a reminder that your well-being is the most important thing and that you should never tolerate a relationship that makes you feel like you are less than you truly are. When you allow a relationship to consume you, you are unknowingly validating the projection of your own shadow onto the other person, and this projection is a wound that only you can heal. Carl Jung believed that the unconscious mind holds immense power over our relationships. Without even realizing it, we often find ourselves caught in repetitive cycles patterns that echo past experiences, particularly those rooted in unresolved trauma. And we may not understand why it keeps happening. When you find yourself living through the same emotional suffering again and again, despite the faces being different, the underlying story feels painfully familiar. It's not a trick of memory. It's a signal, a clear message from your inner self telling you that something within needs to be acknowledged, healed, and transformed. This is why the first step toward building healthier relationships isn't about fixing the other person. The journey starts within. You must begin by turning inward and looking at yourself with honesty and compassion. Jung taught that true transformation begins when we are willing to face our own inner darkness. It's what helps you recognize what you should never tolerate again, because the way others treat you is often a reflection of how you treat yourself. If you constantly allow someone to disrespect your boundaries, your unconscious mind starts to believe a dangerous lie. I am not worthy of love. I do not deserve respect. This belief begins to shape your reality. You rationalize a hurtful comment or a dismissive gesture, but what these seemingly minor moments erode is not just the relationship, but your self-esteem, your confidence, and your ability to trust yourself. That's why it's crucial to understand this. Your worth does not depend on how someone else treats you. Your value is not negotiable. It is intrinsic. It is yours. And no relationship, no matter how intense, should ever make you feel like you're less than enough. Jung reminds us that the people we are drawn to are often mirrors. If you find yourself repeatedly involved in relationships marked by conflict or manipulation, it's not just bad luck. It's a message, a lesson trying to break through the noise. Something inside you needs your attention. This is the time to ask difficult questions, to confront the choices you've made, and examine the roots of your patterns. Why do you allow behaviors that hurt you? Why do you stay when everything in you screams to leave? The answers to these questions are rarely simple, but they are always revealing. Healing begins when you learn to say no to what hurts you, when you draw the line not in anger, but in love for yourself. When you choose not to settle, not to shrink, not to sacrifice your peace for the sake of temporary company. That decision to honor your boundaries and walk away from anything that doesn't serve your well-being is an act of immense courage. It means you understand that solitude is far less painful than a connection that drains your soul. It means you're choosing yourself. And every time you say no to pain, you're also saying yes to something greater. You're saying yes to love that nurtures, to relationships rooted in truth, not fear. And when you operate from this space, you begin to attract differently. You stop repeating the same cycles because you've changed the script. You no longer feel drawn to people who mirror your wounds. Instead, you resonate with those who reflect your healing. That is the essence of Jung's wisdom, that the outer world shifts only when the inner world transforms. And on the other side of that transformation lies a version of you that is whole, empowered, and finally free. According to Carl Jung, love should never require you to lose your essence. Real love doesn't demand self-abandonment. It invites authenticity. As you begin the journey of self-discovery and liberation, you'll notice how the nature of your relationships starts to shift. People who truly respect your boundaries will begin to gravitate toward you naturally. This is the power of synchronicity, one of Jung's most profound concepts. It's a reality that unfolds when you align with your authentic self. There's something incredibly liberating about no longer needing to be someone you're not simply to be accepted. The journey of healing and self-liberation is a slow process that requires patience and deep self-love. But as you begin to make decisions that are truly aligned with your inner truth, you will feel more empowered. You'll stop ignoring those subtle inner cues, the gut feelings, the quiet warnings from within that have always been trying to guide you. Jung taught us that we must not only listen to others, but also to ourselves, to that inner voice we so often silence out of fear. A loving relationship is not supposed to be a battlefield. True love is not a constant struggle. If you feel like your soul is being suffocated, that your spirit is shrinking around someone else, it's a clear signal that something vital is being ignored. The key to recognizing when a relationship has become intolerable lies in our ability to see ourselves with brutal honesty. A relationship that consistently makes you feel like you're not enough, or worse, that demands you abandon yourself to maintain peace, is not worth your time or your energy. Jung also emphasized the importance of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming our most authentic selves. This means being loyal to who we are at our core, not who others want us to be. It's absolutely vital not to sacrifice your authenticity out of fear. Walking away from what no longer serves you is an act of bravery. It's a declaration of self-worth. When you finally decide to stop tolerating what harms you, you are not limiting yourself. You are expanding your possibilities. You are stepping into a world where your energy is protected, your worth is acknowledged, and your life is filled with relationships that elevate you rather than diminish you. Life becomes clearer and lighter when you release what no longer serves you. Jung believed that the unconscious mind constantly guides us toward our true purpose, whispering hints and nudging us in the direction of our growth. Each time you make a decision that aligns with your authentic self, the universe responds. The pieces of your life start falling into place in a way that feels more natural and fulfilling. This is the beauty of healing, of choosing yourself, of stepping into your power. The more you embrace who you truly are, the more life aligns in your favor. The more you learn to set boundaries and to love yourself fully, the closer you come to a life of true peace, fulfillment, and purpose. Now is the moment to pause and reflect. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and allow yourself the space to truly evaluate your relationships, both past and present. Think about the people who have been part of your journey. Have they helped you grow? Have they supported you in becoming the best version of yourself? If the answer is no, then it is time to look inward and understand why you continue to allow these dynamics in your life. When you become fully aware of what you truly deserve, when you genuinely grasp the fact that you do not have to tolerate what harms you, You will start attracting relationships that align with your authentic self. You will begin to draw people who uplift you and who contribute to your happiness. It is crucial to understand that what you permit in your life is a direct reflection of how much you value yourself. Every relationship and every interaction you maintain is an opportunity to strengthen your self-awareness and authenticity. By making the conscious decision not to tolerate what diminishes your well-being, you are not only protecting yourself, but also paving the way for a life filled with healthier, more enriching relationships. You will realize that true love is not about making sacrifices or changing yourself to please others. Real love is built on mutual acceptance and respect. When you choose to free yourself from what drains your energy, you reconnect with an inner strength that enables you to attract people who genuinely resonate with your energy. And when this happens, inner peace becomes your guide, allowing you to build relationships that foster growth and support your journey toward becoming the best version of yourself. Now more than ever, it is essential to take the time for deep introspection. Ask yourself important questions. What relationships are you allowing to impact your life? What behaviors are you tolerating that are preventing you from moving forward? Are you surrounding yourself with people who support your personal growth? Or are you still allowing toxic dynamics to hold you back? Never forget that self-love and self-respect must be your top priorities. Only when you truly love yourself can you love others in a healthy way without losing yourself in the process. It takes courage to look within, to acknowledge what needs healing, and to make the necessary decisions that bring you closer to the life you deserve. If this message resonates with you and you believe it could help someone else, I invite you to share it. There may be someone in your life who needs to hear these words, someone who feels trapped in relationships that do not serve them. By sharing this video, you are not only helping that person, but you are also contributing to a community that seeks growth and authenticity. Furthermore, if you feel inspired by this message, I encourage you to leave a comment below. Tell me which part of this content impacted you the most, or how you are applying these principles in your own life. Your experience could be the inspiration someone else needs to make a significant change. And if you have not yet subscribed, I invite you to do so and activate the notification bell so that you do not miss more messages that can help transform your life. Every time you engage with this content, you are helping this message reach more people who need to hear it. Remember, the path to an authentic life free from toxic relationships begins with the decision to set clear boundaries and take control of your well-being. You do not have to walk this path alone. There is a community here ready to support you every step of the way. Together, we can create an environment where love, respect, and self-awareness are the foundations of all our relationships. Do not hesitate to join us and continue growing with us.